Welcome back to our Melanin Monday. I know that it's been about like 2 weeks. Sorry about that. I tried to get some people on the show, but it wasn't always happening. That's totally fine. This doesn't have to be an every week thing, but I would love it if more people, wanted to be a part of it. And hi, Charlie. How are you, love? Yeah, I'd love it if you guys are interested. If you are a entrepreneur or a business owner of color, please reach out to me. I'd love to interview you and have you on the show. You might notice an upset cat. Smokey is joining me today, and he's very upset that I have chosen his room to do our interview today. But he will just have to get over it. It's whatever. Look at that tail. He's really upset. But anyway, we have a super duper awesome Melanin Monday today, guys. I have Mistro ready. We have Mistro with us today. He is a keyboard player from Mapso. And I'm really excited to ask him some questions. I'm very curious myself as to his creative process. He is a musician, a producer, a DJ. He does it all, and it's really awesome. So I'm really excited to have Mistro here. Looks like he's joined. We're gonna give him a few minutes before he requests to join. I also just want to thank everyone for viewing and for hopping on and wanting to see more about the Melanin Monday, and it's been really rewarding to see you guys popping in and viewing the live and joining our live. Feel free to ask any questions during the interview, especially questions that you might have for me, questions in general. We love the conversation. So looks like we are connecting. Hey, what's up? How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am awesome. Thank you for joining us today, by the way. I know it was kind of last minute.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, I'm really glad that you're joining us today. Why don't you just introduce yourself to everybody real quickly?
I go by the name Mistro TS. I produce music, I DJ, and I play keyboard. I've been playing since I was 7 years old. I've been making a lot of different electronic music lately, and I play classical piano. There's a little bit about what I do.
All right, awesome. Yeah, let's get into it then. So you are from Maplewood?
Yeah, I'm from Maplewood. I was born in Jersey City, but then I grew up here, so I was raised in the Mapso area.
In Mapso. Okay, dope. Do you only play the piano? Do you have any other instruments you play?
I play a little bit of drums also, but I don't play it as seriously as I play piano.
I feel you. But you could feel it. You could mess up some drum beats if asked.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's cool. What would you say your playing style is on the keys?
It's more so like classical jazz, and it's like a fusion of my own little style, but mainly jazz.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because you for the benefit concert that we had this past Thursday. Thank you, by the way, for joining us for that. Your
Thanks
set
for
was
having
super
me.
dope. I was really jamming out. It was really dope. Kind of how we're trying to do things in this digital age. It really did feel kind of like a concert. I was in my room chilling, but I was still this is lit. You can I know people were probably reading or doing things and jamming out to it. So your set was really dope. I did notice I noticed it was a DJ set. Do you have DJ equipment? Are you getting into that? What's the vibe?
Yeah, I've been DJing actually since I was 14.
Oh, awesome.
I sort of just did it as a hobby, it was just fun, and I used to DJ a lot of dubstep and house music, and I just got into it, and now I'm here and I'm just still DJing. I'm trying to get into it more now. I took a break from it to produce more of my own songs, so I can mix my songs in the DJ set. and I
Okay.
kind of want to perform from now on.
Okay, awesome. So what would you say your passion is more, like DJing or producing or playing?
Um, Everything, like
Okay.
most of the time, my passion was like started with producing. I love producing, uh, but eventually, it sometimes it gets, you need a break, like you need to switch from some to
Mm.
do something else. So like whenever I don't feel like producing, I usually play piano or I usually DJ. So I take turns, but all three are things I'm passionate about. Like DJing, I'm extremely passionate about it ever since I was 14, and I've been producing since I'm 13. So I started them both around the same time, and I've been like equally passionate about them.
Awesome. So for people, I know a lot of people, I've always been passionate about like music and like I always wanted to kind of DJ, like being like a dope DJ was always like an idea, like, you know, a dream.
Yeah.
And I always wondered how I would get started into it without the equipment. So like, how did you kind of get started at 14?
Yeah, so I think even before I was 14, I was like, there's a website. It was called there was Virtual DJ, and then there
Okay.
was this website I used to go on, and they used to have, I forgot the name of it. They used to have like a catalog of tunes from the internet, and it was like all sorts of different songs, and there was lots of like house songs, lots of EDM songs, and I used to just go through there, and I used to mess around and just pretend I was DJing with my laptop, even though I didn't have a controller at the time
Mm.
or any equipment or any speakers. I would just pretend like I was DJing, and it was online, like it was on a website.
Oh,
And
okay. All right, nice. But now you have the equipment and everything, like you have turntables and stuff, or do you continue
yeah,
to do like the
yeah, I have a DJI SR. It's like a small controller, and I have a booth speaker, and I just got some Atom Audios, which is dope. So I used to have KRKs. I'm not sure if you use those or have used those, but I'm upgrading to Atoms now, and yeah, I have now I have equipment like for it.
nice. Oh, SKW
It's
says you both are such an inspiration. Is that a friend of yours?
yeah, yeah, that's actually he's another fellow producer DJ. I met in a group chat. He's from I actually forgot, but he's overseas actually.
Oh, awesome. Well, nice
Yeah.
to meet you. Thanks for tuning in. Cool. So I was gonna say, like how long did it take you to kind of get that DJ equipment? Like you just said you just got your like speakers in, I think the other day, right? Like right before the benefit concert. So like would you say for people like starting out trying to DJ, like what would you say is like kind of the first step?
I would say just have fun with it. Like
Mm,
when it comes to getting equipment, for me, all that stuff was like an investment.
mm,
Um, like at first, it was like I was using the internet. I was using Virtual DJ, which was a computer program,
okay.
and it was just my laptop, and I didn't have anything else. But as I just kept on, I would do parties every now and then, and I would go out with my friends. I had a lot of friends who were DJs. So, like, what I would say is try to surround yourself with people who do music too,
Mm,
as well. One thing I had was a mentor, and he was my friend, and he was DJing, and I had called him up, and I was like, hey, I want to get into DJ,
mm,
and he had come over with his equipment. He had two speakers and he had a big controller, and he taught me all the basics. And I would stay up like every night just playing around and just practicing because I loved it.
yeah.
And it was great because he would come by and he would show me some stuff, and then he would leave his equipment, and I would just mess around on his equipment. So it was great that I had him, and then my uncle's also a DJ. So I'm surrounded by a lot of musicians and a lot of like my family's into music. Um, I'm just surrounded by a lot of musical people. So what I would say to people starting out is to try to make as much friends who do music as possible, like network and really show them like what you're capable of, and they
Hmm.
will help you.
Okay, that's awesome. That's really great advice, honestly. I think for any musician, great advice. Just surround yourself with the kind of people you want to, like, you know, go up with, like kind of
Yeah, exactly.
awesome. Um, okay, so let's get into like the playing, the composing side, because you also compose your own original stuff, right? And you said it's like mostly kind of like jazz. You're getting a little closer to EDM, a little bit like kind of like a fusion. You were saying.
Yeah.
So how do you go about composing? Like, what's your kind of like? Give us a step by step.
So usually I get an idea in my head. It'll just come at random. Like sometimes I'll wake up or I'll be doing something totally different. Um, and I'll just get an idea in my head and I have to do something with it. So I'll go on my phone and I'll hum a melody or something, or I might just go on my keyboard and I'll dabble on my keyboard and put some chords together. And my keyboard has a record button, so I record the idea. I record like the melody and then the chords on top of it.
Okay.
So lots of voice memos, lots of keyboard playing, and then I have FL Studio. Are you familiar with FL Studio at all?
No, actually, I'm not.
Oh, what software do you use as?
I usually use Logic.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
that's usually my go-to because I'm an old lady when it comes to technology. Logic's pretty like straightforward for me.
yeah, it's not similar, but it's they do the same thing. Logic does the
Okay.
same thing. So put I'll put all the keyboard information into FL Studio, and then I'll work around the melodies I create, and I'll add drums at first, and then I'll add um, I'll go through different sounds and then select sounds and just apply it. I think Logic is the best for like music creation, like Judah said,
Mm,
because it's really it's just on the go. But with
yeah.
FL Studio, you could do it anywhere. Like you can pencil in melodies. I used to
Mm,
in high school. I used to walk around with my laptop. If I wasn't in music tech or if I was at lunch, I would just like pencil in melodies all the time, and I would just make music during school, like on the fly, and it was just so convenient. And you could really make music anywhere. Like there wasn't a set creative process, but
mm,
yeah. And then like after that, it's just mixing and then mastering, and
yeah.
then I just put out the stuff after it's mastered, after it sounds the best it could sound.
Oh, nice. So you do your own mastering as well?
Yeah, I do my
Oh,
own
wow.
mastering and mixing.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's very tedious work, like honestly, especially going from like the beginning, like the creation, like you're saying, putting in all the building blocks to the end, and then at the end, like I'm sure you're sick of the song by the end of it because you're
Yeah,
just
actually, I am.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. I bet that's a lot. I usually for me, like you were saying with Logic, I start there, build a base. I'm not the best at production, but I try what I can, and then I usually send it off to like someone who actually does that really well. And like,
Yeah.
I'm like, does this, like, could you make this pop? And they usually do. Nick Cadonis is the OG. You should totally hit him up, especially for he's really amazing at mixing, mastering, all that jazz. If you ever want to collaborate on something like with him or something or whatever.
What's his
But
name?
his name is Nick Cadonis. I can send him
Nick
to you. You
Cadonis.
guys should follow him. It's at Nick underscore Cadonis, Kodonas. I think he could actually be watching. I think he clocked in earlier. Yeah, it's Nick underscore uh Cadonis. He's a really, really awesome dude, very humble dude, amazing. I know he was working in LA on I think the Masked Singer. It's like a show called The Masked Singer, and he was like the producer for that and stuff. So he's a really
That's
awesome
cool.
dude. Met him at Berkeley. You mentioned music tech. Is that a class at CHS?
Yeah, so at
Oh, wow.
Columbia they had opened this class. I think it was new, and it was my senior year, and I always wanted music tech. No, they opened it 3 years ago actually, but my senior year is when I got to take the class as an elective, and I just loved it. It was like my go-to place. Like I remember it was fourth period, and I would always just be waiting until that class came so that I could just work on music. And then um, I just remember like it was just an inspiring place to be. Like for all artists, like a lot of my friends used to come through. I met a lot of other artists from this area that are now actually doing music seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
In music tech, that was like where we all started, kind of. And then, it was like actually my first time even like expressing myself to my friends that I did music, because I was always super secretive of that. It was like
Yeah,
something precious to me. I didn't want too many people to know
yeah.
um, about it, and I was often like really insecure about my music. I didn't want people to hear my music really, so I was always in the lab just jamming out, and then I would start to play my stuff on speakers, and I remember people would come in and out, and they'd be like, wow, like what is he working on? And they'd be like, yo, this sounds like something I hear on the radio. And I'd be like, really? Like, you think so? And
Oh, that's
it was
awesome.
yeah, it was like one of my favorite classes from the whole school actually.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't realize that was a class. That sounds really dope for any like kind of high schoolers watching this, especially at Columbia. I don't know how it is now with everything online, but I mean, I think a music tech class online actually wouldn't be the most difficult actually to translate. So that's really awesome. It's really nice to be able to kind of like be in a safe creative environment where everybody's kind of in the same boat. It's not a lot of judgment because it's like you're learning, you're there to learn.
Yeah.
So that's really cool that was your experience. Like, um, I'm happy you got that experience. So what would you say? Who are some of your musical influences?
I have a few. There's Timbaland was my first musical influencer when I started getting into like hip hop music. That was like the first producer I looked up to. He's a producer. He worked with Justin Timberlake, Beyonce, pretty much everybody who's dominating the industry or did
Yeah.
dominate it at some point. He's worked with them. So, and I always saw him in music videos, and I used to love Justin Timberlake's music. So he was his producer, and I wanted to create just like him.
Mm.
So I remember I had a kit, and a kit is basically like all of his sounds,
Oh, nice.
but like it's inside of like FL Studio, which is like Logic. So I would go through his kit and I would put together songs, and that would sound just like him at first.
Yeah.
So he was one of the first people I looked up to. And then how I even got into electronic music was actually through SoundCloud. I started uploading stuff to SoundCloud, and I was uploading like hip hop piano instrumentals, and I found some house music, and then I found this guy named Martin Garrix. I'm not sure if you heard of him, but he had a hit in like 2014. It was like a breakout hit. It was huge. It was called Animals, and I
Oh, yes, yes. I know what you're
yeah,
talking about. Got it.
and I heard his song all over the radio all the time, but
Yep.
I didn't know it was a producer who was like a kid.
Yeah.
So he was like I think 17 at the time, and he was on tour, and he was just doing it big. And then I think I was just like, okay, what's all the hype about? And I listened to the song, and I was like, this song's okay. But then I listened to his other songs, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. I want to
Very
make
good.
music just
Very
like him.
talented guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They talk about him a lot.
Yeah, so I wanted to just be just like him, like with my EDM stuff. And every day I remember I'd come home from school, and I would just make stuff that sounded like that. And it was trash at first. I'm not gonna hold you, like it wasn't it wasn't just I didn't just like start and I was good off the bat. I was
Yeah. I
you
mean,
know
Drake says it best, dude. Like, started from the bottom, now we're here. Like,
yeah,
seriously.
exactly.
Like,
Like
that's.
I was at the very bottom, but yeah, I just kept on creating. I don't even know how I found the drive to keep making that style of music, because it was just so different from what is like normally played over here on the East Coast. So it's just like I just kept on doing it, and I'm glad I kept going, because like now I'm able to like like understand every aspect of electronic music and like just use it to my advantage. So yeah, and sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent.
No, that's fine. Okay.
I'm trying to think of who else. Anomaly is also, you know about Anomaly. I
Yes.
told you about
I
him.
love Anomaly. Love
He's
Anomaly.
one of my recent influences from like last year. I saw a video of him playing keyboard, and I was just
Oh, nice.
I was like, wow, this
Yeah.
is insane. And
Blown
it
away.
was 2 years ago actually, and I was just like, I gotta get into this new genre, and I started listening to that heavily and just working on my keyboard skills even more, and just incorporating more of like that jazz stuff into my EDM. So that's how I kind of got the sound that I have now.
That's awesome, dude. That's really dope.
Thanks, Nari. Thanks.
Sorry?
No, I was thanking the guy in the comments.
Oh, I didn't realize actually. Oh, there we go. Yo, bro, you're the next big thing. Remember the song you made at the house?
Oh, that's my cousin. My cousin's in the live. Shout out to Judah. Shout
Oh.
out to Natalie.
What's up,
Shout out
Judah?
to
Thanks
Natalie.
for tuning in with us. That's really cool. Like, yeah, first of all, Anomaly is super dope. Um, love that. Um, so what's kind of like a next project for you? Are you doing more like produced stuff? Are you trying to collaborate with like singers and artists and things like that? Like what is the also I'm sorry, my cat wants to get out and he's screaming at me.
It's cool.
Quick. Everyone say hi to Smokey real quick. He literally is like yelling at me. Alright, here you go. Go. Get out of here. Okay. Sorry. Alright, so next project. Tell me. What's up?
So I have two collaborations on the way. I have an EP dropping this month.
Ooh.
But yeah, two collaborations on the way with a talented DJ from LA. He's based in LA right now. He's signed to Steve Aoki's label, and I have a collaboration with a chick from Thailand named DJ Yuki, and
Okay.
she's dope. She does a lot of production, and we might get some singers, some collaborations. And then I also am collaborating with the singer. He's very talented. He goes under the name Norman Alexander. So he's we're working on some stuff. He's with the label, and he's working on some big projects, a music video coming out, and we're just putting together a huge project. So I think you guys will hear about that soon. I think it's going to be really big. It's different than my usual stuff. It's actually not really electronic. It's more so like pop, piano type of music. I'm not sure if you heard of Imagine Dragons. They have
Yeah.
that song Believer, I think, or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that. It's like really like huge pop music, with the hard hitting drums and like piano is like the most dominant instrument in those tracks. So I really enjoyed creating those tracks with him because they're like piano pieces, except I get to add even more instruments like strings, violins, all that kind of stuff to the production. So I'm working on a lot of those projects.
That's awesome. That sounds great, dude. I'm very excited for it to drop. And you have music currently, right? You have music out on all major platforms?
Yeah, everywhere. Spotify, iTunes, you name it, it's up there.
That's awesome. What's your like favorite release? I know that's kind of hard to say, but like what's one you jam to like even now like you put it on you're like, "Oh, this is my jam."
I really feel like Fly Away right now is like my top favorite release. At first I wasn't, to be honest, I was feeling it, but I wasn't feeling it the way I am right now, where it's just wow. Sometimes I even think to myself, did I make this track? Oh yeah, I did. It's just one of my, it's just so epic. It's just like wow.
You're really proud. You're like really proud of that one.
Yeah, I love that track. It's a collaboration with me and Joe Cathos. She's an artist from Philly. She's really dope.
Okay.
Shout out to Mikael. Thanks, bro. And Touch is also my favorite song too. That's the song I just released.
Okay, so there's Touch, and what was the first one that you just said?
Fly Away.
Fly Away. Okay, so you guys
Yes.
heard it here. Touch and separate song Fly Away by Maestro TS on Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. All major platforms. Super dope. All right, so we got about 5 more minutes, and I'm going to ask you some more questions if that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I actually took a DJ class
Mhm.
at Berkeley, and I used like the ADJs and also the vinyl like regular turntables and stuff. So have you ever used a vinyl turntable?
I have once. It was really different for me.
Okay.
It's like I wasn't used to it, so it's like kind of like they're two separate things. Like controllers and vinyl
Mm.
are they're very different. I'm really used to the controllers, like the more recent modern kind
Like
of
digital
digital.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you would say you prefer the digital ones, right?
yeah, definitely, especially for my style of music, for electronic music and house. But vinyl is definitely fun, and if like you're scratching and you do hip hop, then vinyl is definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I think vinyl was easier for me just because like I could feel the thing. I'm also not a DJ. I just like you inspired me when I saw your set the other day. Like I was like, oh, I kind of wish
Thank
I
you.
could get back into that, but like, I don't have any equipment here or anything. But like that DJ class was super fun. Like, would you consider like giving a DJ class or like even doing like a tutorial? I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to teach people how to DJ. I'm still a learner myself. As far as like I'm always learning, so I
Mm.
never feel like I'm really qualified to teach everything.
Okay, I
Anything,
feel you.
even producing, like I never really feel qualified, but I feel like I could definitely show somebody something that they haven't learned before. And
Yeah, I could totally because like if you had like a IG TV series or a TV series, like the Instagram kind of series of like how to's, I would totally watch those because like you seem like you know what you're doing. Like even though like I feel like we're all students, like we're all learning, so not you're never really technically a master, but you are uh, an experienced person of your craft. So like I feel like I'm just saying I would totally watch it if you did that.
thank you.
Um, also another thing was do you often like perform live? Like if people were interested, could they hit you up and ask you to play gigs with them or?
Yeah, definitely. I have an email set up for that. You could hit me up if you want to ever book me for an event. Um, I do house parties. I do everything really, weddings, all that sort of stuff.
Okay, awesome. Because I'm gonna tell people about you, and like this is, you're an entrepreneur. This is what you do. This is your business. Guys, go follow Maestro TS. You will not regret it. Go check out his music. If you need a keys player, if you need a DJ, hit the man's up. Get the man some money. No, I'm just kidding. But like for real. Yeah. So I guess I had a little game set out for the last like minute. But I forget to write it down. Okay, so um I had two. Um okay, Timbaland versus Kaytranada. Who would you choose?
Oh, that's tough. That's definitely a tough one. I'm really into K-Tronada. Um, yeah, like to do what with like in
To
this.
collaborate with. Sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna give you two different DJs and you pick which one you would collaborate with.
Okay. Shout out to Josh. Shout out to Mikhail. I think I would collaborate with Kate for sure. Like
Okay.
it's like it, yeah, I would definitely do Kate.
Okay. All right. I see you. All right. So Steve Aoki versus Skrillex.
Skrillex. That's my
Skrillex.
man.
Okay.
I love Skrillex. He's one of
Yeah,
my respect.
I'm bad at the DJ thing because I'm literally thinking of DJs off the top of my head, and I was like, oh, I actually don't know
You
that.
know a lot for someone who's not really
Oh
into.
yeah, I feel like I do, but every time I go to like I was gonna say, I'm trying to think of Pharrell versus MIA. I wouldn't say MIA is too much of a DJ, but like I know she produces her own stuff, so that's I was like,
Yeah, I've actually always wanted to get in the studio with Pharrell. Um, like Timbaland, Pharrell, all those guys. I love those guys. Like, I would definitely want to work with Pharrell as a producer.
okay, I feel you. All right, so Anomaly versus the Animals guy. I was trying to say Martin.
Martin Garrix, yeah.
Yeah, Martin Garrix versus Anomaly.
I've actually I went to Anomaly's master class, so I kind of got to see like his creative process already close
Okay.
up, like right next to him, you know, and it was so inspiring. And just to meet him and just to like see how he does what he does live.
Yeah.
So just because of that experience, I would work with Martin Garrix because he's always been the guy I could never touch. You know, he's all the
Yeah.
way overseas. He's in the Netherlands, so I would definitely want to work with Martin Garrix at some
All
point.
right, there we go then. All right, cool. Well, that was my little game. I probably should have written down the DJs before I did that, but it's fine.
Nah,
MIA doesn't
you're
really
good.
compare to Pharrell. I totally feel you. But I just have a soft spot for her. And I was trying to think of like female DJs because like female DJs are cool too, but it's fine. But anyway, I think that's all the time that we have. Thank you so much, Maestro TS, for joining us today for episode 5 of Melanin Monday. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me on your show and on your series. I appreciate it, and you're doing some really dope things. So, congrats to everything
Oh,
you're
thank you.
working on.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you to the audience for watching, guys. And we'll catch you later. Have a good one. Stay safe.
You too. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.